Welcome to We Play Full Out with Bart and Sonny Miller, the unfiltered and uncensored version.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. I like it.
Right? Kind of fun little add-on. Take it away, Sonny.
Ooh. Well, today we're doing something a little different than usual. We're just going to have a conversation, a good conversation, around our event.
Let's do it.
Why would anybody care about that?
Well, that's a great question because we've had a lot of people ask us, how did the event go? What happened to the event? What was unique this year versus all the other years? So let's talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. So first of all, for those who don't know, it's called I Do Epic Live. Let's just start with that. And what would you say would be the main takeaway or the reason why somebody would come, first of all? Because it's a little bit different than, I would say, a normal marketing event or business event.
Yeah, most definitely. The number one reason that people come to I Do Epic Live and the reason that I love holding the event every single year is for community. And that's really the biggest thing. Yeah. And the reason people come is because they want to network and be part of a community that really is like-minded individuals. And what I mean by like-minded, just so we're really, really clear, is not just in business, but wanting to be around people who are ready to transform their lives. And not only transform their lives, but be with a group of people that are truly givers, not takers. And so we really are, we're extremely picky on who comes to the event. And we really watch for the applicants when they come through. Are they a fit for the ecosystem, or are they just coming to be takers? And so this event really has revolutionized for us, our business, and other people's businesses, because our group of people are really, really, really dedicated to serving other people and expanding themselves in new things, new thought processes. And then on top of that, being around very high profile individuals that feel the exact same way.
Yeah. So I would say a new attendee this year stood up at the end of the event, and she has paid over $400,000 to be in masterminds this year. So she's in some pretty high-level masterminds. And her statement was that she'd never been in a room that was so well curated. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really cool.
Super powerful. And on top of that, she's a super high-profile person herself.
Yeah. And
she also said that, she really made family. And that is our through line. So if you don't know what a through line is, that is the thing that we want everybody to get when they leave the event is family. And we really accomplished that this year. And it's really important that a lot of times when people put events on, they're putting them on for the event provider, right? They have to make a sell. They have to do these things. So they're really not thinking about, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying it's not the first thought of, what is the attendee's experience above anything else, and what's their outcome? So we really emphasize we don't care if anything happens but family. We want to make sure that when people get there, that it throws them into a different ecosystem. It puts them in a different environment. And through the process that we do, by the end, they're hyper connected. Yeah. So we do things like walk and talks that a lot of people don't do. And
we have a WhatsApp. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought there.
Yeah. And in these walk and talks, people really, really connect and really unite with each other on different topics that were talked about, because we call those gold nuggets. What was you going to say?
Well, first, on the walk and talks, we do make it very easy for introverted people who may have a harder time networking at events. I mean, those of us introverts who go to events and you kind of sit in the corner, and sometimes it's harder to approach people and just really feel outgoing. But with the walk and talks, it makes it so easy.
It really does.
You just grab somebody, they probably come and grab you, and you just get to go for a walk with them.
Yeah. And then
it's magical.
It is magical. And then we all sleep on property, which means everybody's there. So at nights we do campfires. During the day, we actually eat together as a family. Like there's a mess hall, like literally people go out, there's a grill, there's food. It's like buffet style, and they eat well. We had steak every night. We had an amazing breakfast every morning. Yep. We had tea, coffee, water, all the things. But our whole thing is to curate an experience to where the group can bond. And then when they're done with this bonding experience, have that for a long period of time of lifelong friends. And they want to come to the event just literally to hang out with their friends. Now, we have some surprises along the way of different people that attend. But you'll notice with our event also, we never tell you who's speaking. We never tell you who's attending. We do that on purpose because we want people to come selfishly for us, because they're part of our family, because they want to be there regardless of who else is in the room. They're fulfilled because we're in the room.
Yeah, for sure. And like Barbara was saying, it is full on summer camp for entrepreneurs, which is such a beautiful environment. And you get to walk out in nature. You got the campfires, you have the cabins, you have the shared showers, like all kinds of fun things that really puts you in an atmosphere where you can reset. And I feel like everybody walks away from the event feeling like they just got a big breath of fresh air and they feel like they've got a whole new family. And another thing we do is a WhatsApp group. So people are connected before the event, during the event, and even now it's still going. And it will go for a year.
Yeah.
At least.
And when I cut it off,
We cut
everybody
it off
gets
this last year.
super upset.
Otherwise, it would still be going. So, you know, it's really amazing. I hear over and over again, like, I came as a certain person and I've left transformed.
Yeah.
And that's really our goal. Like you were saying, we're obviously going to have an offer there. And we love people to go on a journey with us throughout the year. But if they don't and they just walk away feeling uplifted, feeling loved, feeling like they're worth something, that they're valuable, I mean, that's all that matters to us.
Yeah. When we say offer, we feel it's our moral obligation to provide extended value on what we started. And so in the offering, it literally is more of an offering to people of, hey, it's our moral obligation to say, if you want to keep going, if you want this, if you want to extend and expand, and you want to go to another dimension, and we're the leaders that you want right now, then take this. But our offering is probably not for everybody, and we get that. And so therefore, it's not high pressure. It's not like, oh my gosh, and we don't get frustrated, honestly, if nobody buys. And the reason being is because if the offering doesn't fit, then the timing's just not right, if that makes sense. We realize that, you know, we've been to events where we feel like we're almost obligated to buy it. And that's a tough place to be.
It is.
So we really take this offering and really try to put it out there to say, hey, look, we want to be together in this community. We want to grow together. If you want to expand with us and we feel like we're your tribe, here's what we want to do.
Yeah, and I would say as an offering, it's also our calling.
Yeah.
Like it's our moral obligation because it is something that we feel called to do.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, as we announced at this event, this is our next 5-year journey, is to truly lean into this, pour into this, give everything we have to this. So a couple things before we get into that is at the event, yes, we go out and visit horses.
Yes.
We have an experience with horses that's different than probably, I would say 90% of the world
Anything
has
I've
ever
ever
experienced.
seen. Yeah.
And I've been in the horse world for a long, long time. We also do a breathwork session, and it's transformative because there's so many people that are like, I've never actually, as an entrepreneur, made time for me. And they're actually, which is interesting is they're actually scared. They're a little like, oh my gosh. And I say to them all the time, I'm like, you're breathing every day.
Yeah. Like, what's going to happen?
What's so nervous about breathing? You know? Yet they're like, well, I don't know. People tell me. Well, it's like, if you can have such a euphoric experience breathing, maybe you should experience.
Yeah.
It's not like you're taking anything to go somewhere. So, you know, like, I'm not so sure what you're so nervous about. But what's interesting in that is what they're nervous about is what their body is actually capable of. Wow. What your body's actually capable of with no alternative substances. It's pretty freaking cool.
It is.
But it scares people. And I find that really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And so we do a breathwork session because that's one of the ways to actually push yourself and say, what are you as a human capable of doing? Right? Mm-hmm. So I find that really, really fun.
And I would say probably the key point of our event is being human,
Right.
right? It's
Yeah.
like we talked a lot about AI, we talked a lot about organic intelligence, which is our natural intelligence connected to source. And we talked a lot about how important it is going to be going forward, stepping into being more fully alive, fully awake, fully creative, fully whole, fully human,
To play
Right.
full out.
playful out.
Yeah. We really believe, and we talked about this a lot at the event, that organic intelligence is where the puck is going. Now, if you've ever heard of Wayne Gretzky, that's a statement by him, right? But where the puck is going is so critical. And I think for all of us, we need to be more aware of what we are capable of doing. And one of the ways to find that is through breath work, right? Now, when we start to expand and understand our bodies and what they're capable of, and that maybe time travel isn't as far off and it's been with us all the time, we just don't know how to connect in our bodies to get there, then all of a sudden, so many other things open up. They wake up to us. And I think that's the beautiful process, is showing people how they've been manipulated in not using their body as a high performance tool to accelerate playing full out in life.
So good. I love it. So where do we want to go from here?
Well, I think a couple things that I would love to chat with our amazing audience, because we've had several of them say, hey, since the event, people have been talking to us. I've had 3 people reach out and say, what did you actually offer? I want this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if we can give you what we gave, because this is the probably the most irresistible offer I think I could actually offer somebody. And we did it because we truly want to transform a group of people together. And we're setting dates to do that right now.
And I would say the legacy, the ripple effect is what
100%.
we're really passionate about as well.
100%. We're looking out for their kids, their family, all the different things.
All the people they serve.
And so do you want to talk just a tiny bit about what the name of the program is that they would be coming into, and just a little bit about it? What do you think about that? Should we just kind of tell them a little bit about what we offered?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, go ahead.
All right, it's called the We Play Full Out 1111 Life Mastery Experience.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're passionate about playing full out, which means showing up fully for your life. And there's a lot of things that go into that. But as far as what we're taking people on a journey throughout the year is, first of all, getting very, very real with ourselves, recognizing the patterns that have been playing in our lives, recognizing where we've been manipulated, learning about the perception that we carry with us every day. So what lens do you have on? What filters do you have on? And are you willing to look at those, right?
Yeah.
And then it's really all about architecting your life by your own design, the way that you want to have it happen.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go into it.
Oh, I don't care. I mean, if the audience wants it, they should most definitely come at it. But I think the biggest thing that we're trying to get across is, if you've never watched any of Darren Brown's stuff, I would encourage you to go watch that, for one reason only, is he really proves that humans can be puppets on a string. And when you understand The Puppet Master, which is a great book, by the way, too, to read, but when you understand that as humans, we think we're so in control. We think we've got so many things figured out. But reality is, we don't stop and think, how am I being manipulated? And I think Darren Brown is one of the most powerful humans in showing us in the psychological end of things how manipulatable. Is that the right? I don't know if I'm saying that right.
I don't know.
We truly, truly are, because we're being manipulated every single day. Now, that all being said, I think it's important to realize, as a marketer, that's our job. And I know some of you are going to be like, what? That doesn't feel right to me. We're not here to manipulate. And I agree with you to one point, but what I'm trying to get across here is, it's our job to convince people that what we are doing is to serve mankind in a better way. And to do that, we have to do all sorts of things, to, just like we're doing right now, to inform people and try to convince them, try to do whatever it can to help them to expand themselves, if that makes sense. And I think Darren Brown does such a great job in really putting a lens on the fact that if you don't take control of you, and you don't understand your psyche, and if you don't understand certain triggers, You are a puppet on the strings and you are being played, and people are playing with that for their intentions, good or bad. And so I think it's shining a light on that, really shining a light on where did your beliefs come from? Are they just because you were born in a certain area and that was the belief structure and therefore you just adapted to it and you started to live it and you didn't even really stop and think in life that I have a choice. I have some major choices here. As a matter of fact, if I was born XYZ country, I wouldn't even be the same me I am. And are we willing to take action and look at our environments, where we live? Who are we surrounding ourselves with? I mean, all these things we actually sit down and have real conversation. Now, I know some of you are like, I'm good. That's totally good. You're not understanding what we're trying to teach right here. So you're probably not the right person for this opportunity. But the right person right now is literally sitting there saying, oh my gosh, they're right. And I really want to figure out what it would be like to take the noise canceling headphones off and really understand me, my human design, what I was created for, my true passions. And I want to be able to use them to be so magnetic that people are drawn to me no matter what I do. Have you ever met that person that you're like, I don't know what they're doing, but I want to be part of their life? They move people in a way I just don't comprehend. That's what this program is about. Teaching you how to step into your fierce, voracious, just huge, highest power. I can't get it out of me. It's like so excited, but to really find you, to find your soul, to bring it alive. Understand that you're created of energy. That energy is so powerful and so magnetic. But if you're feeling that right now, that's what this is all about. Now, as we do this, you have to understand one thing, and Sunny architected this so beautifully through a fairy tale, and I wish we had time here to talk about it. But if you're not willing to burn the script, if you're not willing to question yourself, if you're not willing to dig deep, and I know that sounds crazy because nobody likes to work on themselves. It's the worst offer to ever present to somebody, right? Who wants to go through pain? Let's be clear. So 90% of you are going to say, I'm out. But the ones that are really ready, you'll know. And you're going to say, no, I've been waiting for this calling. I've been waiting for somebody to help me transform my life. And that's what we wanted to do at the event. And I'm sorry, I went on a heck of a rant there.
I like it.
But at the end of the day, I'm so passionate about that.
Yeah. And I did want to talk about magnetic a little bit. And you did that well, because when I started into the offering, I talked about architecting your life, right? Mm-hmm. But there is a huge portion of that of becoming magnetic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of the things that maybe if you're not ready for this whole journey, but you understand the magnetic part of it, where the puck is going is to you.
Amen.
So obviously we know AI is coming in, it's taking over copywriting, it's taking over all of these businesses that we used to need to hire people for, right? It was like, what can I do to stay relevant in today's world? And it really is what we mean by the puck is going to you. Like, you're no longer building a brand, you are the brand. People want to do business with you because of who you are, because of your story, because of your energy and the frequency that they feel when they're around you.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to get centered and to be aligned with who you are, with your why, with your purpose, with your vision, because AI can build funnels, but it cannot lead movements.
Yeah. And that's a good thing, a good point. And that's the reason that we do our events. That's the reason we want you to do events. That's the reason that we feel like the kind of events that we're doing are transformative, because people want to be with us because we are magnetic. And so we do that. We also are going in deep into the magnetic program that I actually coach, and that is and we talk about this so many times, Beyonce, is that her real name? Is Bo Jackson, who does he go by as his alter ego or his magnetic character? Why did Kobe Bryant create a magnetic personality? All these different things, because what we don't realize sometimes is it's easier to step in and transform, quote unquote, somebody else, which is you, than it is to actually tackle yourself. And I want to throw something out there that I would love for you to look into as you read or listen to this podcast. How many people under an alias name actually transformed the world. But why did they have to do it under an alias name? It was still them. It was still them. But yet they elected to do it under an alias name because they felt like they could actually step in and do it. And then when people actually found out who it was, they were like, what? Why didn't you just do it as you? And they were like, because I just didn't feel powerful enough. But under this alias, I knew I could be a superhero and say things that I normally wouldn't say. And we actually find this, good or bad, online a lot, right? You'll say things behind a keyboard you'd never say in person because you've got something else. Now, I don't want to distract from what I'm trying to get at, because at the end of the day, it is still you. Even if you're an alias, you are still there. But sometimes creating this different person of you helps you actually implement these things faster. So we're also teaching that. We have a style portion in there of how I architect and do events through style and make yourself more magnetic and more relatable and more attractive to humans when they actually are watching your content, listening to your content, things to that nature. But at the end of the day, the biggest thing that we want to do and what we're trying to help people with, and that's why we created this podcast, We Play Full Out, is to actually talk about topics, to really dive into their psyche, to really dive into their human dynamics and break those down and become the superhero that they deserve to be and to actually fulfill their life purpose.
Yes, I love it. And the community is a big, big, big part of that. Yeah. When you were talking about aliases, I think there's two aspects of that. And one is I need to step into something that's bigger than me and it's easier to do it this way. And also, what about their environment? Maybe their environment wouldn't have allowed it.
Yeah, no, that's right? Good. Yeah. And what I'm referring to here is if you want to get more specific is, and I'm going to say it wrong, letters from God. Letters from the universe. Notes from the universe. Like, and I can't think of his name right now. And I'm sorry, you guys. So look him up. But he wrote for a long time underneath his own personal name. And he felt like, I'm done. I'm over. And then he decided, you know what? I'm just going to send this note from the universe to everybody. And man, his open rate was off the freaking charts. And then all of a sudden, he expanded like he'd never expanded before under the alias, same human, same messages, same everything. But when they came from somebody else, all of a sudden everything expanded. Now that's just one of many examples.
Yeah. I want to hit the community aspect one more time.
Do it.
Because I think it is so important who we surround ourselves with.
Absolutely.
Proximity is power, and you only become what your environment expects of you.
Amen.
And that can be so powerful because, one of the stories that I kind of told at the end of the event is like when you're given a hand to be welcomed into a community, you're not just left by yourself at that point.
Right.
You're in a community of people who are hopefully achieving what you want to achieve. Their mindsets are bigger, all the things that you're after, they have. And it really allows you, I feel like, to jump timelines and to relocate your identity to where they are so much faster than if you're sitting at home trying to do it by yourself or you're surrounded by people who either don't understand it or haven't done it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why our event is so powerful, but also our community as we go throughout the year becomes more and more powerful as we rise together because we're doing it together.
Amen to that. And in this group already, the people that have signed up are, holy cow, power houses. All right. So if you guys want more information on that, we're going to reach out to us, private messages, let us know you're interested, and we will get you more information on pricing, dates, things to that nature. And also in this, we made a special offer on a rated X program, if you want to call it that way. But it really is a couples retreat that we are including in that, and how Sunny and I connect what we do, the things we go through, and how we really feel like we've put a lot of energy into our relationship. And so we want to share
and just
that.
to be clear, there will be no live demonstrations that I'm aware of. So
No.
sometimes I think people might freak out when they hear
Yeah,
the,
totally.
the Gateway X,
Yeah.
X-rated personal development. That doesn't mean you have to do anything
Yeah.
in front of anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's really an important aspect, especially
100%.
long-term relationships, and it's also a power. There's a lot of power there in sensuality and connecting with your partner, and it fuels your life. It fuels your life force energy.
It's the most powerful energy that I
And
know of.
if you're stuck in that area, then you're likely stuck in other areas of your life.
100%. So I think that covers a lot of the things. There was a lot of amazing moments, a lot of things we can get into. If you follow us on the social aspect, you probably saw a lot of it. If you didn't, there's just a lot of cool moments, a lot of cool memories. You'll see more about it. Next year, you should attend. So it's generally this time of year, every single year. We're going to be booking that out soon, so you'll be able to see that. But for us, we want to thank all of the attendees, and we are so grateful at the lengths you went to be here. We want to thank all the speakers that showed up and played full out with us.
Yeah, I would love for you to, at the end of our event, you said a statement that really, I think, affected a lot of people, and that was that you cared about their money like an inch, and you cared about their time like full length of your body, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain that a little bit? I thought that was very, very
Well, I just told everybody that, to me, the most critical thing that they gave up in their life was their time, right? Because time, you just can't get it back. And when you decide to go do something or take on an event or you go somewhere, like for me, when I give up my time, it is 100x of me giving up my money, because I feel like I can make money quicker with other things. But my personal time away from my family, away from other things I'm doing, is like, whoa, when you get that, like, that's precious to me. And so, like I told everybody at the event, I am so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful that you invested your time with us. Just like on this podcast, when you listen to this, you're giving me your time. You could be listening to something else. There's not a higher gratitude or way to pay me in any way, shape, or form than that, because that's one of your most valuable quantities you have as a human being.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Is there anything else you want to cover about the event?
I don't think so. I was thinking about doing some gold nuggets and some takeaways, but what do you think?
That's totally up to you. Let's go. Do you
It
have
is.
one gold nugget that was awesome?
Well, there's a lot.
Okay. Do you have one that's awesome?
No, I have too many.
All right. Awesome.
I think the main thing and kind of the through line of our event was obviously Magnetic Life on Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really about being a disruptor
Yeah.
and really stepping into, like we said, this power, recognizing energy, recognizing patterns, recognizing, where we've been manipulated. But I really loved the theme of like all the speakers that we had are disruptors.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Miner's speech about being either a dabbler or a master in what you're doing was very powerful. I don't know if you want to dive into any of those.
Sure. Which one would you want to dive into?
I don't know.
So we had speakers on like your FICO score and why it's important to understand credit and understand how you're being manipulated in the credit system, for example. So that was one of the key speakers that was awesome. We got into blood work, Dr. West, and how, in the medical space, we're being manipulated by not understanding the number one thing that runs through our body, which is blood, and how to read that and what we can see in that, what indicators. And we had why can't I think of Dr. Alex's anyway, we had Dr. Alex Zeron, we had Tom, we had all these people that were so into blood and understanding it, how we could literally transform our lives just by understanding that. We had the amazing Sunny Miller that got into fairy tales and why fairy tales are being interpreted wrong today and that we don't understand them. They've been Disneyified, as she said. And I thought that was a really, really cool, amazing thing. Jeremy Miner breaking down the psychology and why cells and why we have resistance, and having him there doing that was off the charts. Willie Twitchell with horses and how every horse has an energy, and when you combine them, And that's what we're talking about in community. As soon as you enter one person into the community, it changes the dynamics of the way that these horses interact. And so we got to be careful in how we introduce or how many we introduce at one time. I thought it was fascinating on all the things that he covered in that category. Who am I leaving out right now?
I would say the hero's journey at the beginning.
Oh,
Russell Brunson talked about the hero's journey. And more specifically, I think it's called the hero's 2 journey.
Yeah.
Where it's all about, like, you kind of have your ego, right? That's like going for a goal. But in the process, you're becoming somebody different as you're working to achieve that goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Russell absolutely killed it on that and set the tone for the entire event. So it was really a powerhouse of people that were there, powerhouse of speakers, but disruptors changing, saying, hey, wake up.
Wake up.
It's time to see where you're being manipulated. Pay attention to these things. Allow us to show you why this is a disruptor, even if you're saying to yourself, it's not. Once again, just consider the possibility that it is and allow us to step in and see what we can do to disrupt your world right now and make a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
I know that was quick, but I just feel like kind of having a perception of what we talked about.
Yeah. And all the things that we'll have, all those speakers back involved in the program that we're putting forward. And they were architected that reason because we know that when people join the program, that are things that they're going to need, right? Yeah. Understanding finance, where is the market really going? Are we going to a digital currency? And does FICA, are they following that? What are they doing with it? How does our credit scores change? What is the world doing? How is the nutrition supplements, all the things going to change? Peptides, what's going on with those? So many things that we talked about that were so beautiful. That I think it was really, really powerful.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. All right. So life updates for us is since the event, I've been out roping, played a little bit of pickleball, and we've just been going crazy. Our son has been home, which has been nice. Yeah. Enjoying that. Our grandbaby's been over. We've had some fun that way. And right now I'm mentoring an awesome young man, and seeing the progress in him just absolutely has made me so fulfilled the last week.
Yeah.
I've seen light years of growth in him, and I'm really stoked about that and get that privilege. So that's been fun.
We will be speaking at an event.
Yeah, we'll be speaking.
I think it's June 24th and 25th in Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
2-day branding event hosted by Ray Perez.
Yeah. And Ray did a great job on branding. Speaking about branding, big shout out to him. Another one that was a big disruptor in how to look at your brand. So any other updates? I think Xander started playing the guitar.
He did. He started taking guitar lessons.
Yeah, he's taking some guitar lessons, which is really exciting. And Den Lopez, he'll be reaching out to you and learning from you. He's pretty stoked about that. And so big shout out to you. But with that, I think that's the main things. We're out there. We're playing full out. Sonny and I are pushing every single day. We are trying all sorts of new technologies and living life at its fullest. And if there's anything you guys want us to talk about or be part of, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to hear from you. Please pass this on to others. Just take 5 seconds. Send it to somebody else. It would mean a ton for us. And with that message, this segment brought to you by I Do Epic.